Okay, I think that I have successfully found you the most scenic spot in Calgary. So, behold. Okay, let me adjust this because it is cold enough out here that I can no longer hold the tripod. It's quite cold, and really, like, it's not that cold for Canada. It's like 20 degrees out here right now, and like that's pretty mild for winter time. So give me a second just to get warm and then we'll get started. So have you ever been in the middle of a race and you're feeling pretty good about your time? You're like, yeah, I'm hitting all my goals, and then suddenly you have some 8-year-old like pass by you like you're standing still, and you're like, how are they doing that? Their legs are 2 feet long. I'm a full-grown adult. Well, I think that I have found the person who is responsible for creating these mini monsters, and you're about to meet her. Dawn Grunnagle is the founder of a kids running group and coaching program called SpeedKIDZ, and she teaches kids as young as 4 years old how to run safely, properly, and really freaking fast. And you know that saying about how people who can't do teach? Yeah, that's definitely not the case here. Dawn is like really, really fast. And when you watch her run, she makes it look like it's no big deal. So first, let's learn a little bit about Dawn, and then I will introduce you to some of the kids.
Yeah, so I grew up with 5 brothers, so we played basketball. That was like my sport, until, middle school and high school. I actually played through high school until my sophomore year. And I started running track in 8th grade just because my friends were doing it, and I was actually a sprinter my first time out as a runner. And then as I developed in high school, I got put into this 1-mile race, and I ended up winning it, and that's how I became, I guess, a middle distance runner at the time. I learned that you could get a scholarship for running, and I was like, no one in my family had gone to college, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And so I just focused completely on getting a scholarship. And so once I learned I could get a scholarship and the times I had to hit, I just ran.
And when did you get into teaching? Is it something you fell into, or was it something you always wanted to do?
I always wanted to be a teacher my whole life. So I did that in college. That was my degree, interdisciplinary studies. And yeah, I taught for 10 years after I graduated, and I actually stopped running for a little bit and just focused on teaching. And then when I started competing and running again, I was already training athletes like speed agility on the side. And you can't just leave your 2nd, 3rd grade classroom on a Friday or a Monday to go compete over in another state. So I learned I needed more flexibility, so that's when I launched the program SpeedKIDZ. And I already had a ton of girls I was coaching, so that became the team. And it actually started off with all girls. And the idea behind SpeedKIDZ was developing the all-around female, not just through running, but through community service, through giving back, through leadership. It's not just the running part. It's great if you're fast, but you need to be an all-around athlete.
Okay, so I don't have any kids, and that's probably a good thing. But if I did, I would want to know what a good age would be for them to start running.
Well, I think as soon as they start walking, kids can start running. If you ever look at a toddler or a kid that just starts to run or walk, they have the best running form. They're up on their toes. They have the best running form. They actually learn bad habits as they get older. And that's really the vision also we have on our team, is not developing those bad habits, like learning good technique, good running form. That's why we do the running drills that we did earlier. Learning all those techniques early on to make sure that you're able to develop your skills if you do want to run at the middle school, high school, collegiate, or even professional level. You already have that base when you're younger.
Okay, I'm coming back inside. It's just a little too cold, and I ended up talking to a really nice gentleman for probably 45 minutes, but I'm not dressed for being out there for 45 minutes. So you get to be back inside the van with me again. Heater on. Okay, now let's meet some of the SpeedKIDZ.
I'm Mimi and I'm 10. I'm Lola and I'm 13. I'm Rhett, and I'm 11. I'm Marco, and I'm 9.
What goes through your head when you're running?
I think about what I'm going to do that day. I think about that I can feel accomplished when I'm done, and that I can stay and go faster because I have things that I can do that are fun afterwards.
So we know what age is appropriate to start running, but what about distance? I mean, I cannot imagine running a marathon at 9 years old. Honestly, in the shape I'm in right now, I can't imagine running a marathon at all.
I like to do it based on grade. So like if you're in 2nd grade, then maybe you do once a week like a 2-mile run, you know, or if you're in 3rd grade, once a week a 3-mile run, and then your other runs are gonna be all shorter. I think running fast and running speed, developing speed first, is the most important for all the way up through middle school at least. You can always build endurance. But if you have your athlete who's like a 5th grader running a 10-mile run, I don't generally recommend that. I would say 5 miles would be the max for like a 5th grader. And once a week, you wouldn't do that every day.
And then from the viewpoint of a triathlete who is naturally obsessed with gear, what I'm wondering is what a kid really needs to get started running.
A good attitude, and encouraging others that are around you. I think it's more of like a mental state rather than having equipment. My first pair of shoes were SpeedKIDZ, like from Walmart, you know, but I think they do need proper running shoes, of course, but I would say stick to like the flexible ones. I don't recommend kids having any kind of running plate in their shoe. I think the more flexible the shoe, the better. In fact, if you have little kids, like not school age kids yet, I think running around barefoot is the best. Like no shoes if you can do it, you know, to help them strengthen their feet as athletes.
So now you know where these mini powerhouses are coming from, and the next time you are racing in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you get passed by a kid, you might have Dawn to thank for that. And I just can't even imagine what these kids are going to be like when they get to adults if they keep running. I mean, it's just crazy to think about, and it really makes me wish that I had had a coach like Dawn when I was that age. But I was in theater. Now, do you have any questions for Dawn? Do you have any questions for me? All you have to do is put them down below in the comments, or you can just send them straight to me at ry@runproject.org. And if you can just do me a favor and pray that I don't turn into a popsicle, I will then make sure that I see you in a new video next Tuesday. So if you've ever... My mouth is like totally just completely numb. So have you ever been in the middle of the...